All right. Hello, everybody. It's the 21st. It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Apologize for having to move the call, but this week it is started off crazy and it's going to get nothing but more crazy. So I had to do it. For for those of you that know, we're doing that boat trip this weekend. And my boat's out of the water in the yard getting all its annual maintenance, and they've decided it's not going back in the water until Thursday, and we're leaving Friday. So Thursday I'm going to be tied up. I got to be putting that thing back together and stocking it with food and getting it ready to roll. So Thursday's out for me, and it's been really a cool process of getting the four people that are going on this trip. My goal is to have their business like up, ready, white labeled by the time we return to the dock on Sunday. So I figured I'm going to get a head start on this and I'll start putting it together before so I can make sure I can deliver on that promise. So I've been putting that stuff together, and like I said, it's just been crazy. One of the things I discovered was we need to use Zapier to connect the dots between Kartra and the white label program. And in the past, you just go in and you just activate the Zapier integration in Kartra and you had it. Well, this time there's an approval process. So I went in and I signed up for everyone's Zapier accounts and inside their Kartra accounts, and every one of them got denied. And I'm like, what the hell?
Oh,
Yeah, so here I'm like expecting to do this integration and then denied. And it takes like 2 days to, to get this thing passed through their approval process. So there I lost 2 days. And then I had to go back in and I had to reapply. And luckily one of the people had sent me the email that they got back from Kartra about why it got denied. And it's like, I'm looking at that going, holy shit, they want to have all of your documents of how you're going to integrate, who you're going to integrate to, all that stuff. And I'm like, really? So I had to put all that documentation together, resubmit them, and now I'm waiting another 48 hours for approval. So
oh boy.
if I get denied again, it's going to take me right up to the point of being hosed. But I think I've got them. I've given them everything I could possibly give them at this point. I My next thing is going to be calling higher up, saying, "Hey, do you guys want me to keep sending people to Kartra, or do you want me to start recommending Go High Level?" I think
Yeah, there you go.
that's going to be my next pry bar. And I just, speaking of that, I've had several conversations with people that are using Go High Level. Some love it, some hate it. Uh, but the thing is, they are growing. They're growing like leaps and bounds. Um, so who knows? My primary concern with them, and the reason I haven't moved to them or even looked at it as an option, was I personally don't believe their business model is viable. And reason being, and this is why they're growing so fast, by the way. They put a business model out where you can pay them 495 or 497 a month, and you're an agency, and basically you can create as many sub accounts as you want, which basically a sub account is like a version of Go High Level that you can then sell and keep
Whoa.
all of the money. So it sounds great. It would be like, my God, if Kartra did that, I I would be I'd be just going absolutely nuts. I would love to have them do that, but like I said, it's not a viable business model. Like I've been in the hosting business since 1995. I know a little bit about what it takes to host applications and domains and, all of the costs involved with hosting. And that's not a viable business model. Even at 497, you get somebody that piles on 1,000 accounts
Hmm.
and you're on the hook for forever. You get somebody like Perry. Like Perry
Yeah.
did this. Perry white labeled Go High Level, and he's pushing the snot out of it. And obviously, you know why. He's paying $500 a month, and he's probably collecting, $500,000. And he even bundles it. He's actually, this is brilliant. This is, by the way, this is a brilliant business model for stickiness. Stickiness is how you get somebody to pay you forever. The stickier your product offering is, the longer they will pay you. And this leads to lifetime value like beyond imagination. So what Perry has done is he created his group. It's like a mastermind group, and it's $3,000 a year, basically. And that's his price. That's the price he actually wants. He'll probably never sell it less than that. But he did like, what I always do. He puts a retail price on it much higher. The retail price is like 5,000 a year. But his goal is to sell it for 3. So whenever you go to his live events or every time you turn around, he's running a special deal where you can get it at 3. And he gives that to all of his affiliates. Like if you're part of the group, you are by default one of his affiliates. And affiliates make 50%. If you're outside, you can, if you're not part of his Ignite mastermind, you can still be an affiliate, but you get a very low percentage on the affiliate fee. If you're an Ignite member, you get 50%. So that's sticky number one. So if you just have 2 people that are coming in through your affiliate link, you're riding free. That's really sticky. Nobody's going to want to stop that and lose that income and lose that free ride, right? So that is really, really sticky. Really smart on his part to do that. The other sticky is he gives you a bunch of free software training, GPTs, and stuff as part of the group. Plus, he does the weekly calls like what I do, but he's giving you his white label version of Go High Level. Why would he do that? Right? It's not free. It's $3,000 a year. So it's not free. But here's the deal. This is sticky number 2. If you get, let's say you get on there and you start running your business on there, what is your odds of canceling out of his Ignite mastermind and losing that? Never going to happen. For one, it's not that expensive if you look at it as a monthly cost for your business platform. So that's sticky number 2. He's got like 10 different stickies down the line to get people to stick into this mastermind group of his at 3,000 a pop per annual. Now, here's another sticky. You guys want me to keep going with the stickies? What he's doing?
Sure.
Like this is a look under the hood of a very brilliant man who's making millions of dollars out of thin air, right? Because he sold out of the digital marketer thing. He sold out of TNC. He basically is starting over. When he started Ignite, he's basically starting over from scratch with nothing. I mean, the only thing he was starting with was his his image, his reputation, and a list of people that he had stayed in communication with. So he literally was, I'm not going to say he's starting with nothing, but because he's Perry, right? He's got a lot of authority, a lot of credibility. But here's like sticky number 3. He's really, really freaking good at marketing. He's really good at copy. He can create a sales page like for an event that will make you think you're going to absolutely die if you can't make it to that event. He's that good. So the way he started this was he started his AI bot summit. He wrote some phenomenal copy for that AI bot summit. And the AI bot summit was $1,000 to go, early bird for his friends at 497 if you wanted to go. So 497 to go to a live event. He filled the frickin' house, filled it. And then he offered, after he filled the house, he offered his Ignite Mastermind at the end of the summit. And he said, by the way, we're going to be doing live events every month. Every month, we're going to put on a live event and we're going to teach you how to do something that you could run your first $1 million business off of. Like the first one was AI bot. That was the first one, how to create an AI bot business and make $1 million in your first year. So that was number one. And he had a whole slew of them. He had it lined up. Here's what we're doing every month. It's basically $500 for each event. But if you're in the Ignite Mastermind, you get to come to all of them for free. So that's another sticky. That's a huge sticky. So that's how he's doing it. It's absolutely brilliant on his part to be the way he set that up. So there's a lot to be learned from that. So sticky is, anything you can do. And I was using that as the example of go high level. He's giving you a go high level account. And how many of those accounts do you think he's going to give out? Like millions of them, if possible. Well, he's sold 1,000 units. He just crossed 1,000 units of his mastermind. So he's got 1,000 people paying him $3,000 a year. And his cost outside of putting the events on, yeah, there's event costs. But his cost of giving away the go high level is still $500. He's given away 1,000 accounts. Now, from a hosting perspective, I know what that's going to cost go high level to support 1,000 different accounts if people are using them. And those people can do the same thing. It's just, in my opinion, it's not a sustainable business model. So that's why I've been kind of hesitant to jump on board with it. Now, that said, I also know from experience that when you sell a product, I don't care what it is. Let's say you sell 100 of them, probably 3 people are actually going to use it the way it's meant to be used. So that, if anything, is going to be the saving grace to go high level. They're going to only have like maybe 3 Perrys in the group that are really kicking ass and taking advantage, and the rest of the people will be paying their $500 a month and not even using it for the most part. And I know that that's true with anything. A lot of people, there's a lot of reasons why people will pay for something on an ongoing basis. Like, for instance, this call here was originally set up for SEO. This was what you're in now, we're calling it the ACT program, ACT Dominator call, whatever you want to call it. It was originally started in 2010 as the SEO Dominators. It was a group of people that are solely focused on SEO dominating. And they would come on, and I had close to 1,000 people paying $30 a month for an SEO conversation. And most of them were making money. Most of them were SEO professionals. They were making money. They came on, they got the training, they stayed on, a few of the calls just to keep up with things. But for the most part, on 1,000 people, I might have had maybe 50 any given week on the call. Sometimes, like if there was an algorithm shift or something, we might have 100. But for the most part, those guys were just out there. They were doing their thing. They were making their money. They were paying their $30 a month. And you might wonder, why would they keep on paying it if they don't need it? Well, it's cheap insurance. Let's say that person is running their business and they're making, you know, tens of thousands of dollars a month. Like anybody running a successful SEO business was clearing 10 grand a month, easy in profit, easy. So here you got somebody running 10 grand a month, and let's say they jumped out. They weren't in the club anymore. They didn't have access to the Thursday call. If they wanted private consult with me, it was $1,000 an hour. Whereas for $30, they can get the same information. So they kept it as a cheap insurance policy. Like if the shit ever hit the fan, they knew where to go. And that's what happened. Like when there was ever a big algorithm shift, that call was flooded. And if they couldn't make the call, they would all email me like, I'm going to watch the replay. I'm going to watch the replay. I need the replay. Please post it immediately. So, and that's sticky. So when you're building your business, I hope you guys are building your business based on recurring revenue. Because if you're not, you're going to always feel like you're in a rat wheel. It's like if you sell a product and it's a one-off product and that's the end of it, as soon as it's sold and as soon as the money comes in, where's the next dollar is going to come from? You're going to have to make another sale. You're going to have to repeat that process. And my God, that sounds like a job to me. And I'm very anti-job. You guys got to know that by now. So the idea of selling a one-off product has never appealed to me. Like, I don't really think there's anything I do that's a one-off. Even like if somebody came to me to develop a website, that leads them to hosting, that leads them to other services, that leads them to paying me forever. I might set them up with a Kartra account. I might set them up with a Becky bot. I might set them up with, FTC Guardian. It leads to a whole lifetime of service. However they come into me, it doesn't matter what they buy, their first product makes no difference. They're going to have a lifetime relationship with me unless they decide they don't want it. When they decide I am of no value, they go elsewhere and generally they come back. And usually here's something I typically do in my business. And I don't do it so much with you guys. I don't do this on the level of what I'm doing here because I'm here really to truly help. But in the commercial world, when I was selling SEO services, when I had a corporate client that canceled me out, that was like they got themselves on a blacklist. So when they went out to another service provider and found out that service provider was bullshit and they wanted to come back, it was not the same price. They did not get the same price when they came back. Like, you guys, it's not a problem. If you drop out and you want to come back, I never charge you guys anymore. But in the commercial world, yeah, they paid a penalty for dropping out. You know, so that's the way I did it. I always operated that way in that space.
John, when I started doing the websites 2 years ago, I wanted to do similar to what a lot of people were doing with Go High Level. I wanted to do it with Kartra, and my top level was including it. And then that was right when Kartra raised their prices, and now it
Yeah.
became I couldn't afford to do it at that. But I always thought about because I still have my mastermind of creating a mastermind coaching program, kind of like Perry's, that includes the CRM. Because 90% of these people who've come through my mastermind, that's what they don't have is a CRM or a website.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
they go because they don't
And
have it. And it's like those are the two things I've known to have for 10 years.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that I totally get it. And oh, that brings up do you guys know about Groove Cart? Anybody know about Groove Cart? So Groove Cart was Mike Filsame. I'll give you a little bit of history and show you like when I say not to go with something, what's going to happen. This was Groove Cart. So in the beginning, there was a guy named Andy Jenkins. Brilliant guy, brilliant programmer, and he's the one that created oh God, what was the predecessor to Kartra? Not Quick
Kajabi. Kajabi.
Kajabi.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So he created Kajabi, and he did that with Mike Filsame, and they had Frank Kern behind him, and they did a big, big promo, big launch, got a shitload of people onto Kajabi. And then Mike Filsame and Andy, they decided to sell Kajabi. So they sold it, and then they built Kartra. Now, Andy took everything he knew about their development of Kajabi and they built Kartra to be a better product, right? So that's where Kartra came from. Same two developers, Mike and Andy. And I knew they did that. I knew they were flippers. I knew they were jumping from one to the next. So when Mike Filsame contacted me, he's like, "Hey, I heard you're doing this thing with ACT and you really need a platform to put people into." And I was on other platforms. I was not using, stuff like that. I tried Infusionsoft. It never worked for me. So I had duct taped a bunch of stuff together to do my membership site, do my shopping cart, all that stuff. I was probably paying $500 a month for all the pieces. And none of them were really integrated. So it was a pain in the ass. Mike told me about Kajabi, or not Kajabi, about Kartra, and I was really leery about it. But he gave me a free 30-day account to play with. And when I did, I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. This has a lot of potential to make my life very, very simple. So I dove into it. It took me months to really move everything into it. But every time I moved something over, I killed a bill. I canceled a service and became more profitable. So I went from, $500 worth of a bunch of shit that wasn't made for each other down to $100. And everything was seamless. It was so much easier to market. And because of that, I was able to effortlessly promote, market myself to within my list and segment it. My income increased. So my costs went down, my way of life increased, and my income increased. It was great. Then shortly after that, Mike and Andy flipped Kartra. They sold Kartra and they were off to the next thing. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And it wound up that they sold Kartra to a better bunch of people. They didn't sell it to a bunch of marketers like they did with Kajabi. They actually sold it to a software development team that was, awesome. And then they moved on and they created this thing called GrooveCart. And they were trying to pull people away from Kartra, but Kartra was so good, nobody wanted to leave. I certainly didn't. And I especially wasn't going to leave knowing that, hey, they're just going to flip the next thing. And then Andy got sick. And he had cancer and he wound up passing away. And the Groove Cart was not complete. And Andy was the brains behind it. So then Mike and the rest of the guys in Groove Cart, they started selling lifetime memberships. And this is something you want to be careful of. I always put the cross up when I hear lifetime membership because there's no motivation for them to continue supporting it after they get your money. Generally, when somebody sells a lifetime membership to a software, that means it's at the end of its life cycle and they want to cash out. They want to get they want to squeeze the last juice out of that lemon before it runs dry. So they start selling lifetime memberships to something that wasn't even done yet and they didn't have somebody to complete it. And I know a lot of people wound up buying that lifetime membership because of all the promises. And that was probably 4 years ago, maybe longer, 4 or 5 years. So the promises have been going on and on and on, still selling this lifetime membership to GrooveCart. And so that takes us up to what happened last week. While Mike was on the marketer's cruise, he got X'd out of the business. There was hostile takeover on GrooveCart and they basically fired him. So I'm not, they didn't really fire him, but they squeezed him out. And, he's coming back and said, "Hey guys, that's not the way this works." And, they're working through it to where he is going to be exiting, but he's going to do it in a civilized manner where he supports the the promotion of it ongoing for the ones that are taking it over. But I don't see any future in it. So if any of you had GrooveCart that you bought a lifetime membership and you've been waiting years for it to actually work, I don't know if it ever will.
No, I bought a Pipeline Pro lifetime or something like that. Pipeline something or other Pro lifetime membership, and I forget what it was like the cost of like one month of Kartra.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
yeah. Yes, be very leery of lifetime stuff.
Well, the one lifetime thing I'm using, and I think it's because it's AppSumo's pride and joy that they sell is their calendar, TidyCal.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, but there's ways to still after you buy lifetime, there's ways to upgrade it.
Yeah,
That's the other thing is AppSumo stuff has stuff that can be upgraded. You just don't see it when you buy
yeah,
the lifetime license.
yeah. Well, that's a different kind of thing
That's a
because
different model.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
different model altogether. And that still works. But like when you see somebody selling a lifetime offer, be very cautious.
Mhm.
Go, enter into that one lightly. Don't don't build your business around it because it might just disappear. There's a lot of rug pulls out there.
Well,
Yeah,
no, like I had a client with a website client, and he's a roofer. All right, and I don't think I'm gonna deal with roofers anymore. He came to me because I was cheap to do the website, and
yeah,
and I said, well, the reason I do that is because I have a monthly maintenance. I don't do a website that I don't monthly maintain. 6 months into the maintenance, he wanted to quit, and I'm like, you have a 1 year contract with me.
yeah,
And he was telling me, well, I can get the hosting so much cheaper on this pig bun, whatever thing it was. And I'm like, do you put like basic shingles on a people's house? Oh, no, no, we put top quality. We're a top quality people. I said, but every tool you want to run your business is dirt crap.
yeah,
Like, I don't know if I trust you to put a roof on my house because you drive a fancy truck, but yet everything you buy to run your business is like bottom line junk.
yeah. Well, that comes down to the wrong avatar.
Yeah.
That's all that is because like when I was doing a lot of SEO for commercial business, uh I was doing and in the beginning too, I was doing a lot of web development and hosting for them. And here's the deal, if I wasn't charging those guys 300 to 500 a month for their hosting, just for their hosting,
Hmm.
that's not even for maintenance. If I wasn't charging them 300 to 500 a month, I would lose the bid because they didn't want to go cheap. They didn't want their business built on a $20 host,
Hmm.
or especially a $4 host, or a dollar hosting. There's all kinds of ridiculous offers out there. They
Hmm.
just didn't want it. They wouldn't touch you. They would look at you as a provider that was not in their league. So when you get into the commercial world, and this is what I've always told everybody, I'm like, so many people want to work with the little businesses, the little local businesses. And they're just like what Tim described. They're penny pinchers. They want to do high-end work, but they don't want to pay for high-end services. And they're not a good client. They're not a good client to work with. And even lower than that, if you get like the roofers make a lot of money. But let's say a plumber. There was a time where there was people teaching you how to go and build a business around plumbers as clients. And I'm like, oh my God, don't do it. Like a plumber might make, he might have a 90 grand, 100 grand income as gross.
Mhm.
He might bill annually 100 grand. That's working his ass off. That's literally working his ass off. He's got to make basically 300, he's got to bill $300 a day every day of the year, 7 days a week to bill and bring in 100 grand. Now you take out all of his costs. What's he left with to put food on his table? Maybe 50, maybe 40 grand.
Mhm.
That's not a lot of money.
No.
So you come in and you tell him, "Oh yeah, I'm 500 a month for my services." That's 6,000 of his 40. That doesn't work. He's going to go, "Oh fuck no." you know, and if he does, if he believes that you're going to make a difference, he's going to be penning every day, every minute of every day. If you don't bring him business that day, he's going to be up your ass. Like I didn't get any leads today. I didn't get he's going to be a freaking nightmare.
No.
So, when you go to where I was playing in the manufacturing, the 2 to 10 million dollar manufacturing, to me that was ideal because I didn't have bureaucracy. It
Mhm.
was generally the business owner was still in the driver's seat and he was the one that you were going to talk to. He
Yeah.
was going to approve you. He was going to write the check. He was going to pay you. He was the guy you were dealing with. He didn't have a team of idiots that were going to get in your way. And when you did business with him, if you brought him one or two good clients a year, he was happy. He wasn't looking every day, well, I didn't get anything from you today.
Mhm.
He wasn't not up your butt looking for results. So that was the dream client. As hard as I tried to explain that and get people focused on where to make money in that business, they always defaulted to the low end and they always complained.
It's that roofer too, though. The reason he came to me was is he no matter what he did, Google would not approve his page.
Yeah.
And I figured out why. And then when he decided he didn't want to work with me anymore, I'm not telling his new web developer what the reason why is. That'll cost.
Yeah.
But there's within 100 miles of his business, there's another business with the same name.
Yeah.
And every time he put it up, every time he put, and that's it. I changed his keywords is what I did to get around it. But
Yeah.
you don't, that's, you pay for the knowledge, dude. Like knowing, no, turn wrench, 50 cents, knowing which nut to turn.
Exactly. That's where the value is.
That's,
That's where the absolute value is. And that's where AI is the new it's a love-hate relationship with a lot of people. In some cases it's your best friend and in some cases it's your worst enemy. Like in the case of it being your best friend, for me, productivity, no doubt. Oh my God, it's made me so much more productive in the last, say, 24 months. It's staggering up. The productivity is going up at an exponential rate because of the things I'm learning what to do with it. So in that case, it is filling the gap of a best friend. And in my case, it's not really hit the worst enemy part, but in a lot of people's cases, it has because all of the things it's allowing me to do, think about the person that was doing that for me. I don't need them anymore. So that's where the worst enemy comes in. Like guys on Fiverr that are doing all this stuff for people that don't know how to do it. AI is like a magic wand. And I've referred to that many times of being this magic wand theory of, I can wave the magic wand and boom, now you are a graphic artist. You can create your own phenomenal images. You don't need to go to Fiverr anymore. I can wave the magic wand and boom, now you're a video creator. You could have had no video skills whatsoever. And now you can go to Quantum and you can create a video, you know, almost instantly, within a couple of minutes. And if any of you have ever outsourced a video creation, it's a process. You're doing almost as much work as if you did it yourself. Problem is you just don't know how to do it. But you have to create a script. You have to, give them all the images. You've got to, give them all this direction of what to do. And then they do it and they send it back to you as a proof and it sucks. And now you have to give them a bunch of new instructions on how to edit it and fix it. And you go through this process of it might be weeks, it might be months before you get what you want. And now, with AI, you can put in your URL, it'll read your website, it'll write a script for you, it'll create the video, and you're looking at it literally in minutes, not days. And if you don't like it, there's an edit button. You can go in and edit it yourself with point and click. You can change the images, you can change the script, anything you want. So it literally is like a magic wand. Now you're a video creator. Now you're a video editor. A lot of people don't have a lot of copywriting skills. So, again, magic wand. AI can make you a really good copywriter. You might have sucked at overcoming objections. Well, magic wand back again. Now you can overcome objections with ease at light speed with AI. Anything you want to do, anything you're not good at, you can lean on AI. Like I can make a PowerPoint presentation, the nuts and bolts, piece of cake. I can put the images in, I can put the text in, and it looks like crap. I mean, it looks like a third grader did it, or even less. It's like finger painting. You can do it, but does that make you look really professional? No, it does not. It's not polished. It's not professional. But then you go over to Gamma and you use Gamma's AI to put in your content, and it makes a PowerPoint that's like beyond anything I've ever seen out of an outsourcer. I know a lot of people that used to they'd go to Fiverr or they'd go to, different outsourcing places and they would pay to have PowerPoint templates made, or they'd buy a graphics program that had a bunch of PowerPoint templates. And they don't look quite like the finger painting of the third grader, but they're not a lot better. They're pretty basic. You go to Gamma and it looks like you paid $1 million for the presentation. So it's like what is at your fingertips is literally like a magic wand giving you superpowers to do all the shit that you're not good at. So it can be your best friend, but if you're the person that is doing those services for people that didn't know how to do them before, it's going to be your worst enemy. You know, now that said, there is like, let's look at this percentage wise, and I'll show you how you can take it from being your worst enemy to being your best friend if you're in that category. If you take like all the people that use outsourcing services, there's only maybe 10% that are going to find the magic wand and use it, maybe less. So when you think about it, you're only really losing 10% of your market share if you're the Fiverr guy. Let's say you're the one that does that. You have that skill set and that's what you do for a living. So you're going to lose a portion of your business to the do-it-yourselfers that found the magic wand and actually used it. So there goes 10% of your business right off the top. You can replace that with productivity if you use the magic wand. Think about how much work it is for somebody doing this shit manually as an outsourcer on Fiverr. They could be 10 times more productive. So instead of losing 10% of their market share, they could drop their price and do 10 times more business and probably triple their income. So there's always a way to spin something to the positive. You just have to look at it for, what's the reality here? Hey, if people are using this magic wand and they don't need me anymore, how can I use it for myself? It must be pretty freaking good. So don't see AI as the enemy. It's only the enemy if you let it be. If you know there's a train coming and you know what track it's on, if you lay down on the track, it's going to freaking run you over. You know it's coming. It's like get up, get out of its way, get on the train. Don't lay on the tracks and get run over. This train makes a lot of noise. It's not like you don't know it's coming. There's a lot of buzz around AI. Everyone's talking about it. It's just like anything. Web hosting, web development. When I heard the initial buzz on it, I jumped in on it. I got on the train and I got a hell of a ride. That ride moved me into web development. It moved me into SEO. It was like the trains just keep on coming. You just
Well,
have to listen for them and get on the trains. AI is a big ass train.
yeah, all the AI influencers are out there. They had to go somewhere because they are not TikTok influencers this week. So they have to be AI influencers. I used to, me, I used to joke about that back when I was in the blab days, and people were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a blab. I'm a blab expert." I'm like, "Dude, it's been around for 3 weeks, and you're the
Yeah.
expert into it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about experts. To be an expert, you just have to know more than the next guy. As long as you know more.
Well, the other one was the Bitcoin one, which I'm not gonna say in front of you because you're not, but like there was a million Bitcoin experts when it's up. When it's
Yeah.
down, then they're AI experts.
Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
then when AI is not the hot thing, all right, and TikTok's where they're TikTok experts. And
Yeah.
this week, oh no, no, this week in America, they're election experts.
Yeah. It's really funny how the tides shift. I mean, they come in and out at a pretty rapid clip. So Jeff, go ahead.
Speaking of AI, I've got another, excuse me, commercial that we cut using AI. It's a 30-second clip if I could share it,
Yeah,
just to
absolutely.
demo some of the stuff.
Sure. Let's see what you got. See what you came up with.
This is a little bit different. I'm pulling up the file right now. This is a little bit different from some of the tools like NVIDIA.
Yeah, what did you use to create it?
Well, this was a whole commercial pipeline to do it. So we did it for as part of a competition,
Oh,
and the brand is Path water bottles. They make aluminum water bottles.
okay, cool.
So just to set this up real quick, we used AI to do the market research, created a 55-page marketing book on the avatar to understand it, used AI, so we did that using Perplexity and Claude, used Claude and ChatGPT to generate optional scripts, did a manual rewrite to come up with the script that we used, then use Leonardo to create reference images, Runway Gen 3 to create video, Hydra to do lip sync animations in 11 labs for the audio.
Okay. Nice.
And here's what we came up with. I've got a list of things that I would still love to change, but this is what we ended up with.
We're not getting the video, Jeff.
Okay, let me redo that.
You might have to reshare the screen with video or with we got
Audio.
With
video.
audio,
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry
audio.
about that. Oh
Yeah,
man,
we could see it, we just couldn't hear
it's hard to believe, but I've actually done this before.
it.
Okay, let's try that again. Sorry about that.
No, no worries.
I thought it was making a difference.
You brought a plastic water bottle through a beach cleanup?
I just grabbed the bottle of water when gassing up. It was convenient.
Is that eco-caution where you get a teach to date you?
What have I done?
Path. The future of bottled water.
There's still time to change our path.
My choice? Our future.
Path. A bottle with a mission. Make a difference. Join us. Go to drinkpathwater.com now.
Nice.
That was it.
That's cool. We had a little bit of an echo on the audio. It was like you were playing it through two different speakers, but we definitely got the point. That was awesome. I mean, that looks like a commercial that came out of an ad agency. That does not look like, an internet marketer made it.
And there were 450 submittals for the contest. And I'd say that the top 10% were pretty impressive. And the winning ones were we missed the submission date because of my editing skills problem, because that was edited in DaVinci Resolve. But there was several of the winning ones really looked like they were, like you're saying, like they were agency
Yeah.
ads rather than I like NVIDIA. It's just a different style.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a very, very commercial, corporate, polished thing. And there is a market for that, by the way. Like, that's the difference between like SEO guys doing local businesses and where I was working with corporate clients. And, and they weren't even really corporate. They were like $2 to $10 million manufacturers. They weren't like the big corporate, but that has more of a corporate type of feel to it. You could potentially, I mean, if you like that kind of work, which I don't know if you do or not, but if you did, there's probably some high-end projects that you could bid on and using, that as an example of what you could do. There's, you could probably make some big money in that.
Yeah, and we're exploring that because then it's now how do we do that at scale so that we can offer it as a viable service.
And
But
you could also do it for probably, I'm talking big money, but probably a
yeah,
fraction of what it would have cost them to send a film crew out to do that.
exactly. And in a fraction of the time. So because
Yeah.
we've got backed up against that, we've got 3 test ads that we could quickly create to run against that as a control.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that we've gotten that far, and because it doesn't require extra shoots, doesn't require dealing with the actors, the permits, all of that, then we can do so much more quickly.
Yeah. When you think about the actual production cost to create that in the real world, you've got models, you've got hiring, you've got staffing, you've got film crews, you've got travel, you've got like permits. That's a very expensive type of commercial to produce. You could do it at a fraction of the cost and probably make a fortune doing it. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, if you like that kind of work, because that is work. I mean, you just went through it. You know what it took to do that. That takes some time and some brain power and, some frustration, I'm sure.
Well, I like the economics of it,
Yes.
which makes me like the work. So again, it's how do I shop all that out because it reminded me of lessons learned from my aerospace days. One of my big ahas was we've got this drive for realism in video. The more commercial it gets, the more the emphasis on realism is. But what we learned using virtual reality tools for product development in the mid 1990s was the graphics don't count. It's the how compelling is the scenario? Because people will then get lost in it, even because we were using crappy 3D wireframes because we just didn't have the graphics tech wasn't there and the horsepower wasn't there to do more and
Yeah.
do it in real time so that we could take the engineering design for one of our demos was for the F-18 fighter. So you could
Oh,
crawl all around the plane, in the plane, through the plane, do the maintenance on the ground for the plane, which was the case study. It saved millions because they found a tooling design problem that they could change in the design before we had even made any kind of prototype parts.
wow. Yeah, that's
And
really cool.
and with doing this commercial is back to, is it a compelling story? If the answer is yes, and we've got it tuned to a good, tuned well to a valid avatar, it's much less about the perfection and the realism than it is having a compelling story that is well supported by the graphics they're seeing.
Yeah, yeah. I would be curious to have you play around with our new tool and see how it compares to creating the motion graphics, the movie graphics. Because I don't know if you guys have been logged into Quantum lately, and if you tried to log in over the weekend, I apologize. We had some downtime. We had we had some stuff break while we were doing some upgrades. But there's a couple of new tools. One of them is called AI Movies, and one of them is called Movie Editor. And they're tools like the Video Genesis. That's a tool to make like a sales video out of your web page. But the AI Movies, it's to describe a scene, and then it will create a scene like that turtle going over a bunch of bottles or a bunch of plastic bottles. And I'm curious to see how it compares to like the high-end tools that you were using. And Jeff, if you want to do that, there's a credit system on the movie makers. Like you guys probably, we talked about it last week. If you're using Video Genesis now, you'll notice that it takes like, 50 credits to do a Video Genesis video now. And you can purchase the credits. On the movies, it's even more because of the horsepower it takes to do this. But if you want, I'm happy to bonus gift you some credits if you want to play with that, just so you can give me some feedback and,
Yeah, I
and
would love that because that's been,
see how it compares to what you were doing.
yes, which is on my to-do list. What are the equivalent tools in quantum?
Yeah. So that's a new one for you that wasn't there last week. So
Amen.
you can
Love it. Thank you.
play it. And that's what it's for. It's like what you just showed is the perfect example of like what it can do. So that's a really cool thing. And then also I did this, I added these tools for our white labelers. So for people that are white labeling like Shantha, this might be of interest to you. You'll notice there is a new folder in the quantum. It's called woo woo. We've talked about woo woo, and that is really not my world. That is not my world. There's a bunch of stuff in there that, people are into, like tarot reading and, counting on the stars to find who you're compatible with, all that kind of stuff. And we used AI to figure out like what would be the ultimate batch of woo-woo tools. So we created them and they're in there. And if you're a white labeler, you can take that set of tools and create a woo-woo suite to sell into that community. And like I said, that's not my world, but it's a big world. And I know some of you are in it. Some of you have access to it. you could create a suite of tools, which you could just rebrand the ones that we've made for you, and you could go and build a product to sell into that world and probably make an absolute shitload of money. So one of them is personal assessment. One of them is romantic personality analysis, love compatibility, karma destiny, a friendship report, uh, a Vedic matchmaking, tarot predictions, birth charts, lucky crystals, numerology, and just a bunch of bizarre stuff, and it's bizarre to me. Like if you're in that space, that's probably like your world. But there's stuff like how the planets align, moon phases, all the woo-woo shit. It's all in the woo-woo box. So I know just because it's not my world doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if I can provide value and tools, there you go. So so there's been a lot of updates to quantum, and there's still a lot of stuff coming. In fact, we're working on a whole nother platform. It's going to be quantum like. In fact, it's a flash copy of quantum, but it doesn't have all the tools that are in there. It's a completely different tool set. And I'm um, building it for the SEO world. It's a complete set for all those guys that are drowning. The SEO community is literally drowning right now. So I'm building a whole suite of tools for them that's based on AI, and that'll be the next thing that I roll out. And like I said, yeah, I mean, AI has made me so much more productive on being able to build stuff and roll stuff out and be more creative. And it's incredible. I've always talked about, how I don't like to work hard, but I am so working my ass off right now just because, my grandma says you make hay while the sun shines, and the sun is out very bright right now. You have the potential to make a shitload of money in the next 12 to 24 months if if you buckle down and get with the program. And that's what I'm doing. I'll probably work my ass off for another, who knows, another few months, 6 months, year, whatever. And then I'll ride again. I'll just, I'm probably going to be go playing on the boat. I'll be doing these calls from the boat. But there's a lot of opportunity. AI is just provided an incredible bucket of opportunity here. And, for those of you that are, more toward the end of your life cycle and work isn't really exciting to you, which, well, I'm getting there real fast. I tell you what, there is other opportunity for the investment community inside investing in these technologies. Like, think about it. If you went back to the beginning of the internet, the ramp up, let's call it, of the internet, if you were in the right investments in that ramp up, you're probably a multi-millionaire, gazillionaire, whatever right now because of that. That's not riding on your own efforts. That's riding on your intelligence. We all make money. It's what we do with it. We have the option to do whatever we want. We can save it, we can spend it, we can blow it, we can do whatever. That is what you do with your money that you make is completely up to you. Intelligent people invest their money. They don't just blow it. They don't live to the brink of what their income is. If you're only making enough just to survive, that's not what you came to business for. You could do that with a job and not have any worries. But if you're in business, you should be making more than it costs for your basic living. In that case, whatever that amount is, whatever that padding is, you have the ability to do whatever you want. You can live large, you can save it, or you can invest it. And the people back then that invested in that wave of the internet technology, they did really well. They probably don't have to work anymore. Well, you have a lot of things right now that is basically that. Like we always say, if you could roll back the clock and do things over, we'd all be a lot better off than we are right now. I think that's a pretty much a given. If you knew what to invest in and you go back in time and you do the right things, your life's going to be way better today if that happens, right? Well, we don't have that ability, but we can look at the past and predict the future based on what's happened and what's happening now. And you've got three major technologies all coming together. They're going to all collide. And it's an opportunity to make small amounts of investment into things and really set yourself up for life. AI is one of them. And I'm not an investment, advisor. So I have no ability to tell you what to do or what to invest in or give you financial advice of any kind. But I will tell you, there's going to be a lot of people that make a shitload of money off AI technology in the very near future. The other one is blockchain. Blockchain is crypto, and I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about buying an asset that's pumped way over its value. I'm talking about the blockchain technologies that are going to be put into the new financial systems. Tremendous opportunities there for massive growth over the next 24 months. And the third one is supercomputers. The technology, those three technologies all are going to work together. And as far as I know, I've only walked the planet for 60 years. But in the 60 years that I've walked the planet and the history that I've been able to look at in the past, I've never seen anything like what's happening right now. I've never seen the kind of opportunities all coming together and merging and the ability to really change someone's wealth status with little to no effort. And, I mean, your effort's going to be your research and figuring out where to put your dollars. But you guys are in business. You should be making more money than it takes to, for your basic lifestyle. So that said, you have the opportunity to cut back. If you're anything like me, you've lived pretty large. I've lived pretty large off of being able to make whatever I wanted to make. So you have the ability to shear some of that off and move it. Maybe you don't live so large for the next 12 to 24 months and you funnel some of that money into some things that you think might, be good in the future. That, for a little bit of sacrifice on the front end, that might really set you up for life. And, that's what I'm really here for. I mean, everything I do is about to help you guys have a better life. And ultimately, that's it. You don't want to work forever. And if you get yourself into the right investment opportunities, you can move from being a worker to an investor. And that's really the ultimate goal. Anybody that's really successful, they'll tell you they don't work anymore, they invest. Big difference. Big difference in quality of life. So, all right. Well, anything else? I don't mean to, hop up on a soapbox, and it always seems like that's what I'm doing when I talk to you guys about different stuff, but hopefully that was helpful. All right. Anything else before we wrap up for today?
Oh, just real quick, John.
Yeah.
I've been using Alligator AI.
Okay.
I don't see where you upgrade it. to be able to use more than one customer. Am I
What
just blind? Well, we know that, but
what is alligator? I'm not familiar with that.
alligator AI,
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
you sent it out to us.
Alligator?
Hmm. I do believe so. Am I
Uh,
wrong?
I
Anybody else?
that's the first I've heard of it. I don't,
Really?
did I send that out to anybody else?
No, we don't have that, John.
I'll
Yeah,
be darned. Well, I guess I don't know where I got it then.
Yeah, I don't see that one in my notes.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, should
Hmm.
we be looking at it? What is it? Tell us about it.
Well, it's a basic AI package to post social media. It's a free version. You can post pictures and it'll create the wording and post to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe a couple others.
Okay, are you referring to Franken AI?
Right. Oops. Yes, I am. I don't know
Okay,
where I came up
now,
with alligator. Oh my.
now I got you.
Hey, my face is red in living color.
Okay,
Sorry.
I
God.
think you got I
Anyway,
think you got menu items mixed up there.
Okay, yeah, Franken AI. I use Franken AI as a product I actually purchased on JV Zoo,
right. I saw ads the other day for it.
and I bought it as a white label so I could give it away. And that was
Hmm.
my goal. My goal wasn't really to sell it or, get into that space. My goal was to use it as a lead magnet.
Right.
So that's what I did. I'm giving away the free version, which, as you found, is very light. They'll only let you do so many things and then want you to upgrade. But I also have, like, on the thank you page, I put the two buttons to upgrade.
Okay.
And one of the buttons is just to upgrade to the unlimited version, which gives you, all of what you're looking for. The other button is to upgrade you to the white label version if you want to give it away yourself
Right.
and use it as a promotion tool like what I'm doing. Those links are also in the thank you email when you purchase, or you didn't purchase it, but you downloaded it for free. So if you don't have those, just go back to my website and just re-download it
Okay.
and you'll get the links. They'll be on the thank you page and they'll be on the thank you email.
Okay. Well, thank you. And everybody watch out for the alligators.
Yeah, yeah. Then you can have an alligator of your own.
Well, when you said that, I thought about there's one that I found that's like it's like $38 a month. It's a suite of different tools. It's called Sintra, almost like Sinatra, but Sintra AI. And yeah, I'm playing with it. I still think I pretty much got everything I need in that one in Quantum.
Yeah,
But they market
Thank
it
you.
as a your virtual assistant staff.
yeah. Now for anybody that is interested in that, if you want a free lead magnet, if that would be of interest to you and beneficial to your business to be able to give away a free social media software to generate leads, um, and you have Kartra, I actually built a Kartra funnel for Franken AI. And you can do it as Franken AI like I did, or you can, mask it and call it whatever you want. You can call it alligator if you want.
I've
And
got that word trademarked.
there you go. But basically, software is one of the best lead generation tools. Like if you're thinking about lead magnets that you can give away to generate leads, software is a great one. If you can give away any kind of a usable thing to your audience and in the form of software, people love free software. So they will download that shit and sign up for stuff like nobody's business. So,
You saying that you have Franken into a funnel on Kartra? Or
yes, I
I'll
built,
take that. I'll take that campaign.
yeah, I built the funnel for it.
Yeah.
And it's the landing page, the opt-in, the thank you page, the follow-up email, the whole enchilada.
Yeah, you can transfer that one to old Timmy over here.
All right, shoot me an email and I'll send it over to you. But yeah, if any of you guys are in Kartra and you want that funnel, It's basically using Franken AI. The only thing you have to do is on the thank you page. If you don't do this, your thank you page is going to be sending them my affiliate links to JVZoo. And if I'm okay with that, if you are. But if you want to get that money, that affiliate money, sign up at JVZoo as an affiliate and then put your affiliate links in there. So
Thank you.
it's a cool deal. There's actually another product I'm working on. I'm just in the beginning phases of an additional product where we'll be able to, like with Quantum, it's a suite of tools. You buy access to the shell, you get in and you use the tools in there. The next one I'm going to roll out, it's kind of like the God mode inside of Quantum, where you can create a standalone AI tool and you'll be able to post it on your website. And again, you could use that for free lead generators for any tool you want. So that'll be coming. Don't press me on a date for release of that because I got a shitload of stuff on my plate. And Brady's coming out here. He's flying in tomorrow, and we're kind of looking at the roadmap, and there's so much opportunity on the map ahead. We got to figure out where we want to go and how fast we want to get there and all that stuff. So,
Full speed ahead. Daryl, I will say if you yourself are going to use Franken AI or Alligator, whichever you want to call it, it is a very basic program. Great for leads, but we used it on a few of social media accounts and things. You're going to still babysit it, in my opinion, if you want it to be good copy. So just be aware of that if you are using it yourself. It's definitely a great program. It makes everything seamless as far as sitting back and letting the thing work for you. But to make it really good copy, you're going to want to pay attention to what it's posting as well. So just FYI. But it is a good lead magnet.
yeah, that's true. Anything where you're cutting it loose to be representing you, you want to keep an eye on it. That is just good form. So, all right, guys. Well, anything else before we wrap up and I get back to my madness here? This is going to be a crazy week. All right. Well, hey, thank you all for showing up. Again, I apologize for having to switch the date up on you, but it was the only way I was going to get a call in and make this week work. So here we are. Next week, we should be back to regular time and back to normal. So I will see you guys then. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, John.